Hey everyone, this is Matt Cromwell. I just want to give you my first impressions of the new Gutenberg editor that WordPress core is rolling out. They have released their first beta version of it, and they have put big warnings on it. It's a super beta right now. But it's come leaps and bounds from the very first original ideas that they had on it. Currently, it's not really built into the post or page editor really super well right now. Instead, they gave it this dedicated menu item over here. That's what we're going to focus on for this review. You can see here they have two options. You can create a new post with it or see the demo. So let's start with the demo. Right here we see right away that the whole area where we normally have our very traditional WordPress edit screen looks completely different. Honestly, if you're familiar with WordPress.com, there's some elements of this that remind me of WordPress.com. Now, on .com, all of this stuff over here is actually on the left-hand side. They have their own kinds of colors and whatnot, but this feeling of having these sections that you can expand and collapse is very similar. So to the WordPress.com feel. And honestly, I actually like it because it basically puts all of your configuration stuff in the sidebar. And then this area here feels a little bit like the no distraction mode that very few people actually use. But it's a great way to write because you feel like you're writing directly onto the page and you get to see the way it's styled immediately. That's a great way to write if you're just writing content. So the big thing about Gutenberg is that it's going to allow you to do these things that they call tiny blocks. Basically, each major paragraph here is its own dedicated block, which you can actually customize how you like. For example, they highlight right away. The first thing you see here is that you can have a whole block that is right aligned in this case. And then you have a whole block that this is just a heading, and you could change which kind of heading it is, all the way down to an H6, an H1, etc. You can use the text editor tools just like you always do with highlighting it, make it bold or not bold. It doesn't seem to have a major effect for this styled content right now. Italics works. Yeah, like I said, it's super beta, so you see that you can't have both bold and italic for some reason. But all those basic features are there. And then if you wanted, you could even just bump it up to in terms of the order in which it is. If you wanted to put it before this paragraph or after it, that's a great easy way to do it. I think I would like to see that being a drag and drop interface, but having the arrows makes it very literal. But in the case of wanting to move this way down the page, I'd have to click a whole bunch of times, and let me check, how does that feel? Actually, it doesn't feel bad because it seems like the whole page is going with me. So that might work even better than a drag and drop, which, you know, how that can be sometimes that you don't know exactly where it's going to drop. You could drag it just fine, but sometimes dropping it is problematic. So that actually works better than I expected. Here we go again as some text, and now right here, this is an image box, tiny box. And what I love about this feature right here, and this is going to require some theme support, I'm sure, but basically the alignment options they give you are really great. So this is obviously align none. This one here is align center, and this one here is full. So now all of a sudden here's a full width image that takes up the whole width of the page. Just by clicking a button. And here's center, which actually goes outside the bounds of the text in this case. Now I can align it right, and you see how the text wraps around it just right. Here's align none again, and then here's align left again, where the text is wrapping around it just fine. I think this looks really great. The way that they've implemented the image is really slick. You can see even when I click into the caption area, I have my basic text editing tools right here. Double clicking is a little bit problematic in this case, it looks like, so we got to work on that. But if I dragging and dropping, looks like doing the text editing with it aligned like this is going to be problematic. Let's go back to align none, see what happens. Okay, here we go. See, now I can do it just fine. So that's going to be the intended behavior, even when it's aligned. So they're going to have to work on how that happens. You can see how it's highlighting this text as well. So that's a bit of a bug at the moment. I'm sure they'll get that wrapped up just fine. Here is another block element they call a button element basically, and you just set the URL right here, and it's already styled, and you can do just like with images, you can do left align, right align, center align. You could see how this one is a bit problematic in terms of how it's the bold, italics, the text editing is overlaying here, and I just can't get out of it. I tested this earlier, and it makes it impossible to get it back to center align. So that's another minor bug. But being able to align your buttons as an actual block of the page is a pretty neat feature. Here's a block quote, very simple style right here. I'm sure again your themes could have style these however they like. Looks like they have two different styles. Oh, interesting. Two different styles of block quotes. That's a nice feature too. I didn't notice that previously. So I could do it with the line, or I could do it large. It still has the attribution here below just fine. That's a neat feature. Notice also you could change the type of a block whenever you like. Up here, make it a text, make it a list, make it a heading. Right now it's a block quote. Looking good overall. Here's that style 2 block quote now. Here's another separator, another type of block, another image here. Do they have an example? Oh, here's some code. That looks great, actually. Do they have an example of an embed? Oh, this is a nice styled area. Here's a table that actually looks pretty good overall as well. Oh, there we go. Here's the embed. All that you can embed. The embed feature right now I think is pretty interesting. Now I'm at the very bottom of my page, and you can see there's a plus here. The plus is always here at the very bottom of your content, and it's hard to say. They're definitely keeping the UI very lean. It's hard to say whether I'd want a plus to be in between every single paragraph or not, every single block or not. It's hard to say, but what you can do, I noticed, is if you want to add a block in between blocks, you can just click into a block and then click insert, and then there it is. There's a free form, and now I'm typing again. Now I've got my new block. But if I wanted to, and then I could do any kind of block I want here. Here's a pull quote. I want to do a pull quote now. Oh, that's what that nice styled quote was. It was a pull quote. That's nice. So that's how you can insert stuff. What we need right here too is a trash. We need like a little trash button, I think, to be able to just delete this whole thing. The only way right now I see that you can delete is basically to go and actually physically delete. And once you actually delete again, no, it still doesn't get rid of it. I did experience it deleting earlier. I believe you can do that, but right now, let's see, maybe do we have something in post settings? Nope, not at the moment. So deleting stuff is probably a feature that'll be coming later. Let me see what happens if I delete the caption, delete here. Yeah, deleting is not getting attention at the moment. I'm doing Control Z to undo, and that undid the quote just fine, but not the caption. Let's see if I could use this. Yeah, that works. But it's not resetting my style. Oh, there we go. Nice. So the undo button is really convenient here. I wish doing Control Z would work all the time to just make that button keep going. And I wish I had a trash for sure. But I was talking about the embeds actually. Let's add a new embed. If you look at what they have available, they've listed out all of the potential embeds here. And quite honestly, I don't believe that that's really necessary. I think that's overkill right now to list out, to really clutter this whole small area with so many embeds that so many people are really not going to use. Per website, you're not going to be embedding Kickstarters all the time, or ISU all the time. And since embed really works just by pasting the URL in, I would really just expect embed to be its own block, like up here, a comment block, and just say embed right here. That's what I would suggest. But I'd be interested, let's see real quick, if I add a new text element, let's go to WordPress TV. And let's grab this interview with Matt Mullenweg that was at WordCamp Europe just recently. Let's grab that, and if we paste that URL in here, is that going to embed? Let's see. Doesn't look like it. Nope. So it really has to be the embed type, because at the moment, when you paste into the tiny MCE area in WordPress in your post editor screen, and you just hit enter, it actually renders the embed immediately. And I'd like to see that functionality go over into Gutenberg as well. I don't feel like doing this insert embed action is actually all that beneficial at the moment. So let's see, WordPress TV, and now they give a nice UI here, but like I said, this could just say embed URL, and then you hit embed, and now it renders it right there. Like I said, that general functionality is already in TinyMCE with WordPress at the moment. You can pretty much embed all of those services just by pasting the URL in. But we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, but overall, I think it works really well, really smoothly. Another feature I wanted to highlight that I like a lot is the gallery feature. I have just a couple shots here, images. If I just hit select, they go straight into this editor right here. And I have some options, just like the image option. I can actually float the whole gallery. Float it right, that works great. Here's center, which you see just like the image. It takes up more than the text area, and then I can go full width with this. It's really powerful. I really like this idea a lot. And then even beyond that, I can change the columns. We go to 2 columns, and look at that. There's 2 columns next to each other, but this third one goes full screen. I mean, that's a great, nice gallery type. And you see it's going pretty much edge to edge right now in the area, where I could center it. I can float it. It still keeps that general layout. Here it is within the content area now. That's really powerful. That's really well done. I think of all the features I've seen in Gutenberg so far, the way they are handling media is really impressive. Now I do wonder exactly how this will support, how well these types of layouts will be supported with themes. Of course, you can assume that that's going to be done very well in with WordPress default themes, but what will other theme authors have to do to make sure that these layouts that are done in Gutenberg end up being applied correctly and nicely in their own themes? That's definitely a question that I have. So I'm going to hit publish and just see. Yeah, it's not going to see. They say right here already, keep in mind this plugin is a beta version and will not display correctly on your theme. Yeah, so those are big questions already. And I noticed just, it's still demo right now, so don't have a way to actually see this post, like click on the URL right here. But I noticed, I'm pretty sure that it's over here. Welcome to the Gutenberg editor. We click on view, and we'll see I'm on storefront right now, actually. And you'll see that there definitely a lot of stuff is being carried over just fine. Oh, even here's that button. This is actually supposed to be a button, and it's floated just fine. It just doesn't have that style. These are the storefront styles for a block quote, and you can see here that there's no difference right now between the block quote style 1 and the block quote style 2. And that's where theme support is going to be really important for these things. The headings and normal text are fine. The image is fine. Code also looks fine. A little bit weird, a little bit of a strange highlighting going on there. And let's check out, oh, our table looks great. Actually, Storefront does a great job with tables naturally. The embed is looking totally fine. I actually added a caption to this embed, and that's not appearing at all. Oh wait, oh, it got inserted here twice. Oh yeah, that's because because I use, this is actually the text block, and I just pasted the URL in here, and because that's how TinyMCE works, it's rendering that as an embed right there. So this was the second time, and here's my caption for it right there. So, and that was with the embed Gutenberg block right there, and this was just as a text block. And here's my gallery, and you can see the layout is not reflected there at all, but it is showing up as full, the full content area, but it doesn't have that 2-column layout that we did earlier. So that's to be expected, I think, for now. But all of these embeds rendered just perfectly fine. Yeah, so that's it. I think it's coming along really, really nicely. They're doing a great job. I'm really excited for Gutenberg and all that that means for WordPress as a whole, and especially for WordPress users. I think they're really going to love this new feature of WordPress core once it's finally done and rolled out with completion. Thanks so much for watching.